I'm Chris Jefferson-Jones. I'm here today with Francis O'Neill to discuss health and how reverse therapy has helped him. Hi, Francis.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start by talking about your illness. What do you actually have? What was it like being ill? And what symptoms did you have, etc.?
I had sort of extreme fatigue, and I felt incapable of doing anything. And I also had, lots of sort of minor ailments like constant sneezing and rashes and things like that. Just generally weak, and I just couldn't do anything. And I had big headaches as well. And I had this sort of feeling of this like I don't know how to explain it properly, but of being behind what was going on, just feeling slightly sort of physically,
just watching it.
Yeah, watching, and I'm not really in control of the way I was feeling, but really chronic fatigue is what it was. It was just with lots of little things on top of that, like the headaches and the sneezing and the sore throat and aching limbs sometimes when it was bad, and rashes and things like that.
Okay. And then you entered reverse therapy.
Yeah.
Can you go into some detail of what your first session was like?
The first session, I met the Andy, who was the therapist guy, at his house actually, and he just sat around a table and started speaking and asking me about my symptoms and how they came about, and how I was, where I was, what I was doing, how I felt at that time, what my relationships were like at that time, and sort of explored in depth. And but it was very conversational. It wasn't like someone prying or
Trying to pull the information.
Yeah, it wasn't. They weren't trying to extract information from me. This was geared towards, and it felt that way as well. I mean, he wasn't really interested. He probably didn't care about these things, but he was just trying to help me find reasons or triggers or things that might have affected my health in that time, and let me explore them by telling him them. And yeah, it was very easy, very conversational, and he was just trying to start to begin that process in my mind of looking at where I was and what I was doing at the time when I first became ill. That was what he's trying to get his finger on, like what was
from your first session.
From my first session, yeah.
So what was your overall experience of reverse therapy as the sessions went on?
It was very positive. I mean, it was demanding a little bit in a way that you had to watch yourself. So when you left the sessions, you then had to watch when your symptoms were kicked in, and watch things that were happening to you around that time. So it asked something of you. It wasn't just like a cure that you could just go for an hour and everything would be alright. You had to then go away and think about what was said, and also examine the way you were behaving and what way certain things triggered off your symptoms, and that was kind of it sort of made you ask questions of everything you were doing your whole life, and it really made you sort of study for yourself. It was the sessions were more like provocative in that way, in the sense that they made you go away and think and explore what you were doing that was helping, that might have a contributory factor to the way you were feeling.
Was it easier to see once you'd had a few sessions where
initially, because I mean, you automatically think, oh, if someone says to you like things are in your mind, or you automatically shirk away from that or shy away from that, because you've got physical symptoms and they're real and you know they are, and you've been healthy before, and this is different, so you know that you're ill. But the sessions sort of guided you into working it out for yourself. Really, it's a way of helping you work out what is going on.
So this helped you to move on from some symptoms and deal with those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you found yourself becoming ill with various ailments, how did you go around addressing that?
Well, I always like to think that I can fix things and you can make things better and all that sort of thing. And so I tried everything. I phoned up everyone I knew who'd ever had the illness or the chronic fatigue or anything like it. It was called glandular fever. I mean, I went to the doctors and they said, oh, you've got glandular fever, and they said, we haven't actually found any glandular fever, but it's most likely that it's that because of the amount of white blood cells in your bloodstream and stuff. And so as time went on, I started going back to, and I actually moved during this time, so I was seeing different doctors and I was asked different doctors, and I came to one and he just said, oh, you're depressed, and I was like, I'm not depressed. I want to go out and do things. I'm happy enough. I mean, I'm not happy because I'm not well, but it's the not well that's making me unhappy. He said, he goes, well, I can prescribe you antidepressants, I can put you on this. And I had slight awareness of people who'd taken antidepressant pills and how crazy it made them when they were coming off it. And I thought, I'm going to him of sound mind, rational, telling him I'm ill, and he wants to give me something that's going to mess with the chemicals in my brain, and as if there was, and it was just, so somehow to me it just seemed ridiculous, and I was telling him that I wasn't depressed, and his only treatment for it was to give me that, and I found it very, very frustrating. I mean, after that I tried diets and foods and alternative things and acupuncture, and all these sort of things, but that I just found that ridiculous that he could start to put me on antidepressants when I just knew that wasn't what was the matter, and I created dependency on a drug which I didn't need. I knew that wasn't the solution, and I didn't want it, and yet that was the only treatment that he could come up with. And when he said to me, "Oh, you might be like this for weeks or months or years, you may as well," and that was and I was thinking, years, I can't be doing this for years. I can't have this, I can't be like this for years. I'm not going to be like this for years. I'm going to find a solution, and this guy wants me to take pills for as long as it takes. I thought that was crazy.
So a regular GP wasn't actually listening to you, but telling you to just take a magical pill.
I don't know if he wasn't listening to me. He was hearing what he wanted to hear, I think I wouldn't. I mean, he must get people in there, and it must be hard and treating people, and I have sympathy for that. But he just wanted the solution to be in pill form for as long as it took, like whether weeks, months, years. And I was going to be like that. Sometimes it passes, post-viral fatigue, whatever. And I was like, I was not going to have that. I was not going to go on antidepressants, and especially the stories you hear and the things I know from my personal experience, that the dependency that drugs like that can create. I wasn't having it.
What would you say to someone who finds himself in a situation where maybe they're feeling a little bit lost, a little bit isolated, and they're wanting to take a step towards healing themselves?
Mm-hmm.
What would you advise them?
Well, I really, and having gone through the process, I know that this works. I know the reasons why it works, and I would give it. I would try it and really engage with it. It can work very, very quickly. For me, I mean, when I was looking at it, I didn't want to necessarily pay out the money for the sessions, and that was a stumbling block because it looks like. But given how quickly it can work, that it's money well spent, because it gives you back your life, it gives you back all that, and it gives you an understanding of why you got ill, and it's really, really informative and advantageous to have that understanding for the rest of what you do. And I would try it, definitely. I mean, I've suggested to other people who I've met randomly, and they've all had success with it. People who had the same sort of problems as I did, and they were looking for a cure, and I said, well, I've been through this, and I've suggested it, and it has worked for them as well. So I know that it works, and I know the reasons why it works, and I would wholeheartedly recommend people doing it.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Francis.
You're welcome.